Hi, and welcome back to Reach for Wellness. We're back. We are relaunching after some time, and we're so excited to bring you another episode. This show focuses on talking about individuals' mental health journeys and how they reach for wellness. I'm your host, Vanessa Alarcon. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a licensed addictions counselor, and I'm a program manager here at Community Reach Center. We have two guests today. We have Faith and Jennifer. Jennifer is one of our clinical directors for Division 1, and Faith is a supervisor of our residential care facilities. Jennifer and Faith, welcome.
Thank you.
Both of you have, in addition to all the things you have on your plate, both of you are on a very important committee here at Community Reach Center. I do want to start by just saying, what is that connection that you both have to a committee here?
Yes, so Faith and I are both part of our Suicide Prevention Committee at Community Reach Center. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, so this is a big month for our committee. And we work with several other members from Community Reach Center to provide education, increase awareness, reduce stigma, and instill hope in anyone who might be experiencing thoughts of suicide or has been impacted by suicide.
Such an important committee. Faith, what kind of work specifically has the committee done this month, 2024, in September?
Well, we helped organize the suicide prevention walk for our CRC staff, and we had a great turnout. There was a lot of folks that showed up and participated, and it was really encouraging to see how many people are committed to increasing awareness about importance of suicide prevention in our community.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it was a great way to also have the community know, like, Community Reach Center cares about suicide prevention. We stand in solidarity with individuals, families, and individuals struggling with potential suicidal thoughts.
It's a great event. It's put on by the National American Suicide Prevention Group, and each city hosts a walk, Out of the Darkness walk, and so Community Reach was there along with many of our community members and other service providers in the area. They said that there was nearing 2,000 people this year, so that was a great turnout for the event.
Mm-hmm. So then we'll be there
Yes,
next time.
we'll be there, yes.
So a little bit about you guys as individuals. So we, both of you have different roles at Community Reach Center, and also, you know, as any working professional, you have your life here at Community Reach or at your employer, but then also, you know, there's our own self-care journeys that we all go through. And I would love to hear from each of you. Faith, we'll start with you. What kind of tools or what kind of things do you do to reach for your own wellness? What does your self-care look like?
Yeah, well, to start the day, I usually will do some kind of meditation, like even when I first wake up. It really helps me to have an awareness of like what I'm grateful for. I tend to start with like most immediate things, like I'm grateful for my health, that I'm here today, that I'm alive. I think about all the people that I care about. Sometimes I'll think about them individually and, you know, like what I hope for them. And it really helps me to just start the day with like this intention to appreciate what's happening. And, so, you know, because it's so easy to get caught up. Like as soon as I look at my phone, I'm drawn to start thinking about like what needs to happen. But I like to take a little bit of time first thing to kind of organize my thoughts and focus.
I love that, Faith. You start your day with meditation, and I start mine with coffee and chaos. I'm more reflective at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I love that contrast. And it's interesting because, you know, in each of our individual journeys, like, yeah, there's things that may lead themselves one to another in different reflection times. So how come for you? How come towards the end of the day, Jennifer?
I don't know. It works better for me, I think. I think in the mornings, I'm just getting up, I'm going, focused, targeted with whatever is starting the day, meetings or whatever. After the end of the day, I try to exercise, walk the dog, decompress a little bit, talk to my partner, and that's when I have more of my reflection and outreach and connect with friends or family in that kind of way.
You mentioned dog.
One dog. Stella. Yes, Stella is a lovely addition to our family. She's a rescue, 6-year-old Great Dane and Mastiff mix. So she's a big girl and she's a lot of fun and requires a lot of walks.
Got it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
See how that all ties together? Yes.
So those are at least some of the rituals that both of you will engage in. Faith, do you have anything as you wrap up your day that you do, or is it more concentrating in the morning for you?
Sometimes I'll set 2 or 3 goals at the beginning of the day, and I try to make it really achievable. And I'm like, well, if I just can get, these 2 or 3 things done today, it's a good day, and that's enough. And sometimes I'll revisit at the end of the day and be like, well, I did the things.
Check, check, check.
So in each of your journeys, you've mentioned different rituals or routines, and both of you are licensed professionals in the field. I'd love to hear from you. Why would it be important for someone to have an established either routine or something that they do in their day, if it's a daily or weekly practice for their own well-being?
Well, I think structure and routine is huge in terms of grounding anyone, and particularly someone who might be struggling with symptoms or any behavioral health issue, actually. Structure and routine provides predictability, safety, structure, and I think that really roots a person and provides a good baseline.
What do you think about that, Faith?
Well, there's so many things that happen every day to each of us. Yeah. Sometimes I feel as though the only constant in life is change. And that it's so helpful for me to stay centered when I have a sense of, like my values, what's important to me, and even checking in during the day when different things arise that I didn't expect, to try to get back on track with what I want my life to be about, the impact I want to have on other people.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about times where I feel like things feel, I was going to say more in control, but I don't know if we could really have control over life overall. But when things feel more steady, it's usually when I have some sort of good routine happening. But when I'm just kind of living, I feel like that's where I can actually feel myself losing some of that grounding. So I feel that it's a good thing. So there are individuals who may experience different types of, you mentioned the word symptoms, right? But there could be individuals in their mental health journeys where a clinical depression, a clinical anxiety, or other types of clinical mental health diagnoses may come into play, where it could lead to different types of thoughts. And one of those could be a suicidal thought. And I know the committee has done some work on how we can help destigmatize, but I would love to hear from either one of you about how a self-care routine can help someone if they're very overwhelmed and stressed, and maybe being part of a preventative measure for suicidal thoughts.
It's so important to prioritize your own mental health, not just for yourself, but we meet so many people. Each person is going to have interactions with other folks every day, and deciding what kind of routine and what kind of outcome you want for your own health, for your nutrition, for your sleep, is essential for getting there. Until you identify the goal and what kind of life you want to have, it'll be very difficult to take steps in the right direction. So it is really essential to take some time to figure out where you want to get to. If you're experiencing different symptoms that are difficult to deal with, it's good to take time to determine, I would love to have a great night's sleep every night. I'd love to have less substance use in my life, and start finding just really small steps that you can take every day, and it will eventually get much better, just one little step per day.
As you mentioned, Faith, and the way I visualize it as you were talking is sometimes things can just build up, and for some people that can then lead right to an experience of, well, this is very overwhelming and it feels like too much, and so the more we can kind of decrease some of that. From what we've been talking about, Jennifer, where does hope come into either one's individual self-care journey, or when it comes to just feeling this really, really high overwhelm of life?
I think hope is one of the greatest gifts that we can provide other people in general, and especially people who are struggling. And as service providers, instilling hope that recovery is possible, that they're not alone, that their experiences and emotions are valid. It's really, I think, a bridge for a lot of people to take that first step toward talking about things and their recovery journey. So that's something I think that is important to me in my practice, and to share with the people, you know, that I'm supporting and supervising, that instilling hope is paramount.
And I hope it's something that individuals, as they're getting their care here at Community Reach Center, they feel from us, like you mentioned, the care providers, and even I'm thinking, Faith, of your context in the residential care, like people feel that we're able to instill that hope into their recovery, and not just like, here's some coping skills, hope you just feel better, but really like, how do we feel hope, but also like this overwhelm, like sometimes other things are very universal. We all know what stress feels like. We've all experienced it. And so how can we just say, you know, I've been through something. This is how you can go through it forward. Any last things that I haven't mentioned that you think would be important to listeners to really think about, either in regards to suicide prevention or about their own self-care journeys?
I think as we talk about stigma being such a profoundly impactful issue, particularly when it comes to behavioral health and suicide, talking about it, talking openly, being supportive, and really being aware of the language that we use when we speak about other people and other experiences. And not being afraid to speak up. If you hear somebody say something that might be a little bit out of turn, educating them on a better way that you could say something.
Because reducing stigma, I always feel like I think about it as like a world group project. Like we just all got together and just said, hey, we're gonna be intentional about how we say things, how we engage with others, and so we can help reduce some of that stigma. So glad that's a good note to end on. But thank you both for being here today on Reach for Wellness. And we do have a future episode coming up for Reach for Wellness. So if you want to stay tuned in, you want to know what's happening, or even if you have enjoyed this episode and want to engage with us, we are at Community Reach Center on Instagram, on Facebook, and we also have this podcast on Apple and Spotify, and we are also on YouTube. So stay connected with us. And our next episode, it will be themed of the spooky season. So if that intrigues your interest, definitely make sure to tune in next month. We're so excited you checked us out, and we'll talk to you next time.